So when Nanny just went on camera teary-eyed, dropping alleged details about Meghan's house, and the feeds are melting. She reportedly talked about strict routines, sudden room clears, and staff whispering, painting a picture that feels dramatic. But is it a genuine confession or just a misread rumor echoing through the algorithm? Quick subscribe for the fastest tea, and let's sort this. We'll look at what she actually said, what was implied, and what was clipped out. Who is this Nanny? What's her timeline? And does any verified source back it up? Because right now it's vibes and claims, not proof. And that matters. Stay with me. Here's the scene. 2 tiny kids and 3 very different backdrops, with Windsor's formality, a misty Vancouver stopover, and the sun-soaked quiet of Montecito. And that constant shuffle meant new routines, new walls, and yes, new people cycling in and out around the family. By late 2019, the chatter started, because it always does, and staffing stories bubbled up in columns and comment sections, with one headline-making whisper about a night nurse who was dismissed after a single shift, reportedly. And the palace-adjacent grapevine never really let that go. Jump cut to the transatlantic move, then the West Coast nest, and you get why schedules were tight, security was tight, and access to the children would have been extra controlled, which is why any hint of behind-the-scenes insight feels like catnip for the internet, but also why we tread carefully. Now enter the newest twist, a supposed former nanny appearing online, tearful at moments, vague at others, claiming proximity but leaving out hard dates, specific posts, or verifiable markers. And the tone reads less tell-all and more diary entry, which can happen when emotions run hot. But it also means we're in alleged territory, not confirmed fact. She hints at long nights and high stakes, reportedly, frames it as care for the children, and suggests boundaries were a moving target. But the language is soft and the edges are smudged, so we're clocking what's said while noting what's missing, like contracts, references, or corroboration from named colleagues. Remember, across Windsor, Vancouver, and Montecito, staffing would have been layered, vetted, and rotating, so one person's perspective could be real to them and still incomplete. That's our starting point, a timeline split across 3 homes. Years of murmured staffing drama, and now an alleged ex-nanny stepping into the light without receipts. So we're setting the table, staying measured, and ready to sift what's claimed from what's confirmed. Okay, the buzz kicked off with a shaky interview clip tabloids are citing like it's gospel. A trembling voice, blurred edges, and this vague hint they saw things at Meghan's home. Allegedly, reportedly, maybe, but here's the catch. No identity confirmed, no provenance, and the audio is unverified. Yet it's rocketing across feeds because it presses all the right buttons. It feels intimate, it feels risky, it feels like a friend whispering in the dark, and that vibe is catnip online. But feelings aren't facts, and the details matter. I watched it, and the tells are classic. Jump cuts, inconsistent room tone, a voice that could be masked or cloned, no on-screen sourcing, and captions doing heavy lifting the audio doesn't actually support. When clips say, "I saw things," without specifics, our brains fill in the blanks with whatever we already believe, which is why vagueness spreads faster than receipts. Algorithms reward engagement, not verification. So outrage and what-if energy get boosted while corrections crawl. And this matters because reputations are real, safety is real, and once a narrative sticks, even a clean debunk can't fully unwind it. Also, if the audio is authentic, the person speaking deserves proper vetting and protection, not exploitation by content farms. If it's manipulated, then it's a harm machine dressed as whistleblowing. So here's the practical. Wait for an original source. Check if a reputable outlet names the speaker and stakes its credibility. Look for chain of custody on the file, consistent waveform and room acoustics, and corroboration from multiple independent parties. Creators should label this as unverified, use allegedly, avoid tagging family members, and not amplify without context. For viewers, sit on the share button for 24 hours and see what holds up. Tea is fun, but when receipts are missing, it's just steam. It's giving pattern, right? Because this round of staffing chatter echoes the last 2 cycles with those blink and you miss it hires, the suddenly quiet intros, and the quick fade-outs that reportedly get wrapped in tight NDAs. So the silence expands and rumor rushes in to fill the blanks. But this time there are receipts, or at least what look like them, like onboarding screenshots with redacted names that allegedly match internal templates, calendar snippets that supposedly show kickoff meetings followed by abrupt rescheduled streaks, and recruiter DMs where the tone shifts from welcome aboard to circling back after internal changes, plus a couple of scrubbed team bios that the web archive still mirrors, which is never definitive on its own. But the stack starts to rhyme, and when patterns rhyme in public, you notice, because the beats repeat: a soft launch higher, a few liked posts, then unfollows. Then a polite moving in a different direction screenshot, claimed by someone who says they were there, and those NDA whispers underline it, not proof by themselves, sure, but a reason folks aren't speaking freely, and that's exactly when speculation balloons. So here's the grounding. Timestamps align across different sources, file metadata reportedly checks out, and the cross-platform breadcrumbs, follows, tags, event pics, line up with days people say they joined and left. Which doesn't confirm every claim, but it does narrow what's plausible. And if you watched this org before, you'll recognize the cadence, because it's the same choreography we saw in spring, just with new faces and the same tempo. So while we can't assert motives, the visible pattern suggests brief placements, quick pivots, and a hush that invites theories, with the alleged receipts acting like the beat you can't ignore. Here's the curveball. The on-record nanny, Lauren Kumalo, went public in 2022 and praised Meghan's warmth and flexibility. She said Meghan was kind, relaxed, hands-on, not the icy boss image some headlines pushed. Lauren reportedly recalled Meghan driving herself to pick her up. No convoy, no fuss. She said the couple made tea, talked like normal people. She said schedules were flexible, baby-led, and Meghan listened. That's not nothing, because it lands right against the hardship narrative. You know the one, the alleged difficult Duchess whispers. The staffing horror stories that tabloids love, all labeled allegations and disputed. Lauren's account contradicts that vibe, not with vague spin, with small, specific moments. She reportedly said Harry was present and gentle, that Meghan was open to ideas, that the baby carrier came out, walks happened, laughter too. And on camera in their doc, Lauren looked relaxed, not hostage-level tense, which matters in people watching land. Does one nanny's praise erase every allegation? No. Does it complicate the picture? Absolutely. It suggests context, different days, different dynamics, and possibly a gap between palace politics and lived moments in the kitchen at 5 a.m. It also hints at something basic. Support staff who felt seen may have had different experiences than those who didn't, allegedly. Media loves a monolith. Real life rarely is one, so file this under receipts that don't fit the script. Lauren spoke on record. She put her name to it. She described warmth, flexibility, and a boss who let the baby set the pace. That's powerful counter-evidence. Not definitive, but inconvenient for the harsh narrative. Which is exactly why it keeps popping up whenever the tougher stories resurface. Contradiction noted. Keep it in the mix. Okay, so the clip everyone is passing around tonight is allegedly insider audio from Montecito. But here's the kicker. It's a re-upload, not the source. And that matters, because when a file gets bounced, the trail gets messy, and the telltales people look for start throwing flags. Tech sleuths on forums reportedly pulled the metadata and saw mismatches, creation time that doesn't line up with the night the whispers say it was recorded, an encoder string that suggests multiple passes, and a container tag that looks newer than the supposed capture, which screams splice to some ears. On the waveform, analysts claim there are hard cuts, tiny drops in room time, and a noise floor that shifts mid-sentence, like segments from different mics were stitched, while the spectrogram allegedly shows copy-paste patterns right where the spicy bits hit. Supporters counter that re-uploads can rewrite tags and transcodes can warp the spectrum, so artifacts alone don't prove anything. Fair. But there's more. The voice print match is inconclusive, pitch drift pops up at odd intervals, and the file's hash history is missing because the original poster is gone, which leaves provenance in the air. Also telling, the captions in the viral version misquote a line that earlier mirrors reportedly didn't include, hinting the audio and on-screen text weren't born together. No outlet has verified it, and no involved party has confirmed, so treat it as disputed until someone with the original device steps forward. If this were legit, we'd expect a clean chain of custody, a consistent encoder, an identical ambient hum across takes. We don't have that. So enjoy the chatter, but file it under maybe, not must be. Okay, let's talk fallout and motive, because the mess after the mess is the real show. The minute the first clip hit, the incentive structure lit up. Clicks, watch time, superfans on call, and a queue of exclusive explainers. Both camps rush to seize the mic, because in Creatorland, the narrator wins. Control the frame, control the feelings, control the funds. Motive looks practical, not poetic. Outrage pays, sympathy converts, and silence is expensive. Sponsors allegedly paused placements. Agencies reportedly asked for updates, and a few collaborators quietly scrub thumbnails. That becomes leverage. Say you're being targeted, and members only spikes. Say you're exposing rot, and Patreon purrs. Behind the ring lights, PR instincts kick in. Issue a timeline, seed buzzwords, repeat 3 claims, float a legal phrase like defamation or tortious interference, and watch the discourse police itself. Nobody wants to get sued. But everybody wants to look brave. So we get threats, not filings. Demand letters reportedly fly, NDAs are name-dropped, and "talk to my lawyer" becomes a catchphrase. Lawsuits in waiting are a content genre now. Hint at discovery, tease receipts, then hold something back for leverage. It's chess with screenshots. And yes, both sides benefit when the audience chases certainty. If you believe one camp, you binge their catalog. If you doubt them, you hate watch. Either way, the meter runs. The motive is split screen. Protect the bag, salvage reputation, and punish rivals while recruiting fence-sitters. The fallout is predictable. Fandom fractures. Moderators burn out. Group chats leak allegedly. Hashtags do lats. And normies log on late asking for a 2-minute summary. Here's the sober read. Complex situations rarely collapse into a single villain or saint. Treat every receipt as curated, every apology as a pitch, and every threat of court as theater until a docket number appears. All right, that's where we'll leave it tonight. Next, we're tracing the clip's origin frame by frame, then stacking it against verified timelines and staff rosters, so we can separate what's alleged from what's actually documented. I'm talking timestamps, shift logs, transit data, the boring receipts that matter. If the nanny chooses to speak on record, you'll hear it here first, uncut and in context. Until then, treat the spiciest claims as alleged and the rest as developing. We'll keep pulling threads, confirm with sources, and flag what's reportedly solid. Stay tuned. Updates drop as soon as they clear verification.